Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here. Now, you've seen the title of the video. We and Ryker do not want the Toronto Raptors to tank. We do not expect the Toronto Raptors to tank. This video is not about whether the Raptors should tank or if it's even a question.
But
we are just saying.
But if we look at the 2015-2016 Boston Celtics, their tanking outcome ended up being insurmountably better than the Toronto Raptors in a quest for being the NBA champion. So perhaps by the end of this video, we think that tanking may be plausible. Just to keep an open mind.
But we both, going into it, just so all the fans out there know, and they don't unsubscribe for us being too crazy, this is just a look at how the Raptors could possibly tank. How it could be done and have an extremely fun season and have the best chance at getting RJ Barrett next year.
All right.
Okay, so we have a series of moves that Masai Ujiri could make to make the Toronto Raptors tank next season. And it starts off, we already talked about trading DeMar. He's our best player. He's the city. But if we're tanking, DeMar's got to go. And we're sending him straight to Orlando for Bismack Biyombo, Terrence Ross, and the 6th overall pick. We're bringing back Biz Daddy. Got T. Ross back in the 6th. What are your thoughts, Ryker?
All right, what the 6th pick?
The return of T. Ross.
You know I hate T. Ross. You know he's the turnover machine. You know he's the turnover machine.
No, T. Ross is back.
No, listen, I'm going to give a quick anecdote. And I was watching the playoffs against the Washington Wizards, all right?
Yeah.
The playoff series against the Washington Wizards with a friend who was not experienced with the Toronto Raptors playoff system, okay? And he was a T. Ross fan. I don't know how this came to be, but I said, I don't understand this fallacy that you have towards this absolute garbage player, but just keep an eye for every time he touches the ball, because I would say 50% of the time he was going to get a turnover, all right? He's either going to miss a shot or get a turnover. And sure enough, I was exactly right. He got a turnover every possession. All right, so suffice to say, I'm not a fan of T. Ross, but we'll look at the 6th pick. We'll look at the number 6.
Okay, well, I'm going to get into the 6th pick after, all right?
All right.
That's just keep that in mind. The Toronto Raptors getting the 6th pick out of this trade and a future first, right? A first pick for next season, because DeMar is a superstar. We get 2 first-round picks out of it, especially by taking back Bismack and Ross's contracts. I love me a bit of T. Ross. Exciting to see those buys back next season if we're tanking. You want some friendly faces. So we also keep that 6th pick, and next year, a shot at RJ Barrett with the trash Orlando franchise. Okay? So that's the first move. Second move, Kyle Lowry to the Clippers for Danilo Gallinari, Boban Marjanovic. Danilo Gallinari, Boban Marjanovic, and the 12th and 13th picks of the NBA draft.
All right. So you're saying we're talking about picks later? We're talking about the actual person that you get later?
The Magic, well, we can talk about these players. I got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a Canadian. That's all I really know about him, and he plays point guard, so I feel like he'll be good. The Magic pick, I got something special for. But that's who we'll draft with the 12th pick, looking at the mock drafts. And Zaire Smith.
Mock draft is saying Colin Sexton is going 12th.
Okay, we get Colin Sexton.
Who, in my opinion, is the second best point guard in the draft.
Okay. Well, what's it called? NBADraft.net, they say he's going earlier. So they say he's going about 9th.
Okay.
So I got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Definitely messed up that name.
What does your draft board have Trae Young going?
We're getting into the 6th pick later, Ryker. Okay. But he's going 8th on my mock draft.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'll link my NBA mock draft in the description.
Okay.
But and then we got Zaire Smith. Know nothing about him. Zaire is a really cool name. Want him on a tanking team because that name is sick. Got him going 15th. So Kyle Lowry, he had to go. Kyle Lowry had to get out of here because he's really good at basketball. Love me some Kyle Lowry, but we're tanking. Get out of here, Kyle. And the next player that's got to go, Jonas Valanciunas. He was too good this season. Developed a 3-point shot. Had to get out of here. He's gone to the Dallas Mavericks for Dwight Powell, another Canadian boy, and their 2019 pick because we're hoping they're going to be bad next season too so we can get RJ Barrett. All right? Mm-hmm. So Jonas for Dwight Powell, but there's a stipulation. Okay. This is where the 6th pick comes in.
Yep.
The Dallas Mavericks have the 5th overall pick. Okay?
Yep.
Once we make this trade with Jonas, we also make a verbal agreement that they will not draft Michael Porter Jr. So we say to Dallas, you cannot draft Michael Porter Jr. So he falls to us at 6th. We get Michael Porter Jr. All right? So that's what's happening there. Jonas on the Mavericks. We get Michael Porter Jr. with the 6th overall pick. All right?
All right.
If that wasn't overwhelming enough, we got an even bigger trade coming up with the New York Knicks because Masai Ujiri loves fleecing the New York Knicks. He
does. Yep.
We're sending CJ Miles, DeLon Wright, Norman Powell over to the Knicks, sent right to James Dolan, and we're taking back just Joakim Noah, Allen Iverson Jr., Trey Burke, and a 2nd-round pick and a 1st-round pick next season because we know with Porzingis out next year, they're going to be bad. Let's get another shot at RJ, especially with our pick, and the 2nd-round pick. Wait. Now, everyone's like, why do you want a 2nd-round pick?
Yep.
Ben?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You're questioning that.
Yep.
Because they have the 37th pick in the draft.
I'm questioning
That's a perfect spot to take LiAngelo Ball.
Ooh.
Okay? That's a perfect spot to take LiAngelo Ball.
Minty. Okay, wait, is Allen Iverson Jr. a real person, or is this somebody you just created?
It's Trey Burke.
Okay, that's what I was saying. Allen Iverson doesn't.
Okay, did I even say his name?
Yeah, that is how you say his name. Okay, he's got
Trey Burke.
He's got the cornrows. He's got the headband. He's looking like a young, not as skilled, but he's an emulation.
Mm-hmm. And we're also, to make everything work out, we got to keep Fred because we're staying young. We're looking for the future with this tank, a quick turnaround tank. So we're giving Fred the bag, right? Giving Fred the bag, but his shoulder's pretty bad in the playoffs, all right? Yep. He's gonna sit out all next season. Just rest. Make sure that shoulder's good. And we're buying out Serge Ibaka because our team would be too good with Fred VanVleet at the helm at point guard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So those are all the moves that we have made. So any quick reactions? I know I went through that pretty fast, Riker.
Yeah, you flew through it. I'm not sure where your draft is looking like, your mock draft. To me, Luka Doncic is the easy number one. He's the youngest ever EuroLeague MVP. All right?
Yep.
And he's fantastic. So it's looking like he's going to go to Phoenix unless they deal him away for Karl Anthony Towns, which they may because they already have a fantastic shooting guard it's slipping my mind right now. What he just scored?
Devin
Booker. There you go. They already have a fantastic shooting guard. I can't see them going for 2 unless they make push one up to small forward or push one down to point guard. I don't see it. I have DeAndre Ayton going 2nd. I have Mo Bamba up there. I have Marvin Bagley up there. I see this guy Jaren Jackson Jr. floating around. I'm not sure. But either way, Michael Porter Jr. slipped tremendously from the beginning of the draft. And that's where it gets interesting because after that we have all these players. Colin Sexton, Wendell Carter, Michael Porter Jr., Trae Young, right? We have all these guys that are huge names from high school that didn't perform to the peak level that they perhaps could have in
injuries came into play with that as well.
Exactly, right?
Yep.
But we have these players, and injuries is the most fascinating thing in the NBA because it's like, do you take a risk, right? Do you take somebody who's the surefire thing because you see them play all season, or do you take somebody who has maybe a bigger upside but you didn't see them perform, right? And we see this all the time in the NBA where players are selected lower but they end up being by far the best player in the draft. So it's fascinating to me, but I think that the top 3 or 4 is a surefire thing, but if the Raptors can trade up, or obviously this is a very hypothetical.
Get 6th,
right? Who can we pick? And I'm sure that we can pick a good player.
Not to draft
because I guarantee you, Trae Young, Colin Sexton, Michael Porter Jr., one of those 3, Wendell Carter Jr. It's not. Oh shoot! It's not Wendell Carter. It's Wendell Carter. I mean, if we pick any of these guys at 6, they'll be there, right?
Yep. So, with the players I named, do you like that? Do you like this roster? These crazy roster moves?
Well, let me ask you, what would your favorite of all the 3 be, or 4? How many did you pick? 4?
The 4 trades.
Yeah. What would your favorite be?
I don't know. See, with the Clippers trade, you got Boban. He's very memeable, but I love me some Biz and Ross. Those are 2 of my guys. go great with a tanking season. Joakim, we could always throw the Just Joakim joke on the podcast. That would get me excited. And LiAngelo Ball is coming in through that Knicks deal. Get LeVar Ball on the sidelines. I'm just, that tanking season.
Listen,
the thing about
Boban Marjanovic is he was actually the most efficient player for the Detroit Pistons this season.
Yep. But he's going to be buried on our bench because we're tanking.
That's true. We don't want those good players in the court. We want the worst players possible if we're tanking.
Yep.
That means OG is taking a season of just riding the pine.
Oh, yeah. Danilo Gallinari starting at small forward. Here's our roster. Yep. Here's our roster. Okay?
Yeah.
So, starting at point guard this season, we have Trey Burke, the young Allen Iverson. Terrence Ross or LiAngelo Ball, the shooting guard, whoever's going to miss more threes. Danilo Gallinari starting at small. Actually, Danilo Gallinari will get injured, so he'll lose us a few games at the beginning of the year. Then OG will still get his minutes to develop.
Yep.
We'll get Siakam at the 4. Really we're going to get him to shoot 5 threes a game.
Okay.
So his 3-point shot will develop quicker at a quicker pace, but we'll still lose games, and we'll still get that nice Siakam build. And then we'll have Yak at the center he's only 22 years old, so he'll be good in the future. Not quite a starting center yet, so he won't win us too many games. Yep. Then off the bench, we got Georges Alexander or whatever point guard. We got Ross or Jello. Got this guy named Zaire. No idea who he is, but a great name. Gallinari or OG, whatever small forwards out there. Dwight Powell and Michael Porter Jr. Actually, Michael Porter Jr. will definitely start because he'll be on the roster. Whoever we got with that 6th pick will be getting some big minutes because we want some main players. And as tanking tradition, as we saw with the Sixers, they always had about 5 to 6 garbage centers on their roster.
Yep.
Right? Maybe not garbage, but very highly paid centers.
Yep.
So behind Yak, we got Bismack, Joakim, and Boban. That's a pure tanking culture. That right there is what we call a very nice tank.
Yep.
And then we have about 4 picks next season to get RJ Barrett or Zion.
Yep. No, I like that. And that's contingent on the fact that the players that we trade to, those teams will tank and we'll get the pick in the lottery. But I think it could
we
would 100% get it. This is very hypothetical. We
got to get RJ. If we trash our team like this, if we put this abomination of trades, we got to get RJ.
All right. And what's the turnaround? Last thought, what's the turnaround? Are we thinking as soon as we get RJ or Zion, we're a championship team, or is this like a 5-year window?
RJ on the roster?
Yeah.
RJ and OG.
They're just a powerhouse.
That just sounds right.
Yeah.
That just sounds right. And Terrence Ross on the roster. Joakim Noah will bring that bench energy.
All right.
Yep. And actually, I forgot to mention, we're also buying out Serge Ibaka, just getting him out of here. He doesn't fit with the roster. He might win a few games for us in the regular season. He's gone too. Forgot to mention that.
Okay. I don't mind that. He didn't perform in the playoffs, so in this season of tanking, it's not bad. Actually, if we're tanking, then it's not bad to keep him either. But if we're going for a complete tank, we'll trade for even lesser power forward. So let's go for it. And
a bonus thing, once we get rid of Serge, just a little bonus one. We'll bring back the worst plus-minus guy in the Europe league. Bring back Andrea Bargnani if Gallinari gets injured. Replace an Italian for an Italian.
Oh my God. If people are still listening up to this point, they will shut off the podcast as soon as they hear that name mentioned, whispered, spoken within a breath.
Season.
Primo pasta and sauce is not left enough of a legacy to be like, I support this fella coming back to the squad. People are like, I'm out. You mentioned this man?
No.
I'm done.
Man, no, if we're tanking, Andrea needs to be back. I want to see that commercial for tanking for the culture. So hopefully this podcast, for all the people that we see on Raptors Reddit and stuff, shine some light on what the Raptors would look like if we tanked and how awful that would be. I think this would be the worst thing that Masai Ujiri could possibly do. But it would be a lot of fun.
If we could pull the right moves.
No, just these moves. Because we're not going to tank.
Specific
We better
moves.
not tank.
These specific moves.
Just these,
that'd be fun.
Yeah. Just a bit of fun, you know? Get the memeiest guys. You know, LeVar Ball on the sidelines. So, obviously, this is not going to happen. This better not happen. Be very sad if it did. But a part of me would just be like, the memes are great.
For sure.
Yep. Anyways, let us know what you guys think. How could we make this roster worse? That's what we really want to hear. We don't need to hear in the comments how dumb idiots we are, because if we were the GMs of the Raptors, we'd fire ourselves if we made these moves. But how could we make this roster worse? How could we Sam Hinkie this up even better? That's what we want to know in the comments. You guys are the best if you made it this far. And thanks for listening.
That's it. Love it. And